Hi, it's Catherine, and welcome back to Taking Tea with Catherine. And today, it is lemon and ginger herbal tea. I have one of those days where it's, am I coming down with something? Is it just allergies? Everything tastes funny, so I didn't want to invest in one of my, let's try this kind of tea. So, it's a little dull, but, sometimes you just have to drink the beneficial stuff and still enjoy it for the most part. Well, recently I had the fun, sarcastically she says this, experience of putting together some bookshelves. And, it was just a cheap set of bookshelves and, it took most of a day off that I had to make them. I put books together in there and it made a slight dent in my bookshelves, so I was able to rearrange everything. So there's a little space left, but not that much. And of course that means that of course, I had to do another haul, which honestly is so counterproductive because the whole point was that I was making room for the books I already have. And I know I'm going to go crazy in a few months going to London and probably buying tons of books, but I'm unstoppable. What can I say? Sick in more ways than one. But let's not go there. So I'm going to do a little, obviously this is the end of the year, so this is going to be my last haul. However, I'm going to do a two-parter. So I'm going to do a mostly fiction one today, and then I will, at some point before the year's over, I hope, I shall do part two, which will probably be mostly nonfiction, but I may have a few fiction in there as well, because there's a couple that I have coming in the mail. So we'll see. But I'm just going to do the ones right now that are pretty much, I think, fiction and almost, not entirely, but almost all mystery. Because I like mystery. But I'm going to start with the ones that are not mystery that I know of. Things surprise me sometimes. And Book Off is, I've mentioned before, is a bookshop near me, near my job, I should say. Had a funniest experience. You see, when you first walk in, there's two levels of Book Off. And the first level is, street level. And right by the door, when you first walk in, there's a counter where you can buy books. You could check out your books, but you could also sell your books back. Or sell your books in general. And these places don't give you amazing amounts of money for it. But so that's one end of the shop. Then on the second floor is where they have all the English language books, because on the ground floor they have all kinds of toys and kind of nerdy comic booky sort of things too, and DVDs, but they also have Japanese language books. So that's the first floor. So the second floor is English. And I was on the second floor going through the $1 and $2 section, because that's where I haunt the most. I rarely go into the full price section, which is slightly discounted but not enough. And there's a guy, and he is ranting and raving at the section downstairs where you're selling your books back. And now I have decent hearing. I don't have superhuman hearing, but I could hear everything this guy was saying. So he must have been pretty loud. He was just so not happy with what kind of service he was getting, what kind of money he was getting. He was just saying all kinds of things that I would not want to be the recipient of. And at the same time, the music in the background playing over the speakers, for the store, was the Chipmunks singing the Christmas song. It was a very surreal moment. Almost funny. But that's the kind of experience you have in places like Book Off. But the people there are very nice. It's just, you never know what you're going to get. But I always end up going there and saying, I'm just going to look. And then there's all these $1 books. And so I end up buying some. And so the first two books I'm going to show you, I think, I'm looking here. There may be two others that are also from Book Off. But these two are the classics that I got from Book Off. One of them was not $1. It was $5. But I think worth it because it's Anthony Trollope. And it's An Old Man's Love. It's one of his last novels, and I like this particular collection. I have a few already. They look like they're, if I'm in the mood for Trollope, but I'm not in the mood to get into one of his big doorstopper, Palliser type books, this might be a good idea. And it's just another one in my collection. I think it's a great picture too. So I thought that was great. And someone who I have books that I haven't started yet, as in North and South, The Life of Charlotte Bronte, although I did start that at one point in my life. However, for $1, oh, that sounds so cheap, $1, $1, I got the Penguin Classics, Elizabeth Gaskell, Mary Barton. And it looks like it's going to be spectacularly depressing, so looking forward to that. Okay. Now, actually, let's just go into, alright. Let's go into the other ones that I got at Book Off to keep it complete. This is a book that I've heard many times. Now, I have not, as you guys know, actually read the novel. I've seen the movies, I read a graphic novel, so I know the story of Jane Eyre, and so that's another possible goal for 2020 among my other Bronte-ish goals. But this is like the prequel written by someone else that I keep hearing about, by Wide Sargasso Sea, and this is how little I know about the writer. I mean, very little. Is it Jean Rhys? Jean Rhys? Man, woman? I do not know. I know nothing about this. I should have looked it up before I came here, but you know what? Sometimes I like to be surprised. Who's that author? Evelyn Waugh or something? I didn't know. You know, that, you just don't know sometimes some names. But anyway, so we'll find out. But I thought this was a really great picture. So whether I like this book or not, it was $1. So I've done that before in this Book Off. I buy things and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like it, but for $1, you can't go wrong. And it's kind of true, because if you really don't like it, you can always go either sell it back, or you could go to one of those little free libraries and feel like you're being so generous, And okay, so this is a show, this is a book, and it's got a slight dent in it, but for $1 again, can't go wrong. And I've seen this program on, I think, BritBox, maybe Acorn, one of those British TV streaming sites. And I like the show, and I thought, well, this is supposedly the complete works of Father Brown for $1. I thought, if I'm in the mood for a mystery, this might be good. By G.K. Chesterton. I also don't know the gender of G.K. Chesterton. Let's see, his life. Okay. It's a dude. I kind of thought so, but, I don't assume, as you know. All right, so that's all of the Book Off. And now, let's see. I'm trying to put this in order. I'm not forgetting. Oh, wait. I'm not done with Book Off. The Archivist, or is it The Archivist? The Archivist? I think it's The Archivist. By Martha Cooley, which is a novel. It's referred to as a detective novel in the back, so I could probably include this in one of my tea and mysteries. I just love this cover with all the pictures of the old books. And it says, Matthias is a librarian, a man of orderly ways, responsible for safeguarding a sealed cache of, I don't know how to pronounce words anymore, of T.S. Eliot's letters. Roberta is a young poet with an unabashed and oddly intense interest in the letters. What begins as a battle of wills soon evolves into an unlikely friendship, a relationship that not only unsettles Matthias' solitary life, but forces him to confront long-buried memories of his wife, her mental breakdown, and the dissolution of their marriage. Propelled by startling truths hidden and revealed, this extraordinary novel draws richly upon the poems of T.S. Eliot, who I've always kind of wanted to get into, and the intellectual and social climate of post-war New York City, as it explores the redemptive power of art and the challenge of forging a moral and meaningful life in the modern world. I really hope this is good. I like the way it sounds, and like I said, I've always kind of wanted to get into T.S. Eliot. I almost bought one of his books once, his collection of poems, but I think the one with the cats, with all the pictures of Edward Gorey in the front, but I just didn't buy it, and I feel sad that I didn't. And no, I have not seen the movie Cats. I might hate watch it if ever it comes on like Netflix or something, but I'm not paying to see that. I could save that money and go to Book Off and buy a ton of books. All right, I think I'm actually, let's see. Yes, done with Book Off. And these are books that, so this one, I just mentioned how I wanted to buy that T.S. Eliot. I saw it in the Strand kiosks by Central Park, and I didn't buy it. Still regretting, but not terribly, because, I can't buy everything, or can I? I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, but it'll come back. But this I found, and it was relatively affordable, and Agatha Christie, The Mystery of the Blue Train, I did see this one recently on the Poirot TV series, but maybe I'll space it out so that I'll forget a little bit the story and it'll come back to me. I don't think it's in order. Well, actually, actually, huh? Actually, it kind of is in order because I think I ordered the Big Four online, and that's one of the ones I'm waiting to come in, so I'll have it in my future hauls. And so after the murder of Roger Ackroyd comes the Big Four, and then the Mystery of the Blue Train. So I'm actually in order. I didn't even realize this. Wow, that's great. But I'm also going to read, anyway, Murder on the Orient Express next month, so I'm going out of order a little bit. But I'm kind of glad. We're staying in order, but maybe just long enough that I can forget some of the plot. I've forgotten most of it already. You know, my poor memory. A lot of times too, when I play the series, like when I binge watch a series like Poirot or whatever, even though I'm interested in the story, I'll often sort of wander off or fall asleep because I'm, old, sick lady. So I may not always know what happens in the story, or I'll think I'll know and I'll be wrong. So that may be one of them. Yeah, I'm just living the most exciting life right now. All right. Now I mentioned like ad nauseum that I'm going to London, and my friend, sometimes she works in the travel industry. I don't get into too much about other people's jobs, but every once in a while she can get a, discounted or free stay at a hotel, like kind of like what they used to do in the old days called fam trips, where you could inspect hotels for, and for free basically. I'm not going to stake my life on that, and that's fine. I have done so before, stayed in hotels with her, which is fun very much, but as it is right now, we're staying in a really lovely place in I don't know if this is what the area is actually called, but near King's Cross, near the British Library. And I know I've walked around that area before. There's certain areas that are a little bit seedy looking still, but for the most part, as long as you don't go crazy wandering, it's mostly been built up, like gentrified. Yes, Freddie, yes. He always wants to be in the picture. And from what I gather, it could be a very fun, am I saying fun again? It can be a very good area to stay in. Also because it's not far from Word in the Water. Actually, it's really close to where Word in the Water is, which is that houseboat that is a bookshop, which I've been to twice and absolutely love. So all kinds of great things. Why am I talking about where I'm staying? Not because I want you guys to stalk me if you're in London, because no, I don't want that. It's not that. It's more of because the next two books I'm going to show you are the same author from the same series. And actually, I've read this series out of order. And I think this is one of the first ones. So I don't usually buy these kind of books. I actually own two of them, but I had not intended to buy these books, but I couldn't find them at the library, and I'm wanting to read them because I wanted to read these particular books before I went back to London, especially because I'm going to be in that area where a lot of it takes place in this particular area for some reason, and that's how I've learned so much about the King's Cross area, more than I ever had before. So I'm talking about the Bryant and May Peculiar Crimes Unit stories. This is Full Dark House and White Corridor by Christopher Fowler. I really, really like this series, and it is so London. Even when it's not in London, it is so London nevertheless, but most of it takes place in London, and most of it takes place especially in that particular area. There's been so much about King's Cross. One of them got into the underground fire that had happened back in the 80s, which horrific. But yeah, so it's basically this these two detectives, John May and Arthur Bryant, who are of an age that no one will really specify, but they seem like they're ancient. But Arthur Bryant is like the eccentric one who has all kinds of esoteric knowledge of London and other things too, but like history and all kinds of weird things. And every time there is some crime that they have to investigate, he comes up with some theory based on some mythology, whatever. And even if, it's like Scooby-Doo, where it's not really a ghost, but it's, old man Jenkins or whatever. But even though it's always some, just somebody who's killing for some reason, there's always something about the history and mythology that actually explains and helps him to solve the crime. So it's kind of, it's, I was gonna say fun. You heard it coming. But and May, who is his partner, is kind of his opposite. They've known each other for a long time. They get along very well, but May is more of like a more sharper dressed, you know, kind of a ladies' man-ish person. And Arthur Bryant's just not like that at all. He dresses like in the same overcoat and big scarf, kind of like I picture, you know, Tom Baker's scarf from Doctor Who. And is always eating these boiled sweets, which, you know, candies, which actually grosses me out, the sound of it, because I'm a little bit misophonic. But I love these stories, and I think they're going to really, really, if I'm not in the mood already, get me in the mood for London. So I'm planning to read one of each in the next couple of months. So you'll probably see this in my upcoming TBRs. Yeah, and I got those online. I got them at Thrift Books. Yes, because I did do another Thrift Books haul, because I'm nuts. Okay, and is this Thrift Books? No, I think I just got this one on Amazon. But as you guys know, I have part 2 and part 3 of the Inspector Morse omnibuses. I think there may be 4 or 5 as well. But you know, having 2 and 3 is fine, but I kind of wanted 1. So when I found it for, I don't remember how much, I thought, all right, let's start this collection. Let's really start this collection. So now I have up to 4 and 5, which I'm no rush to get, because now I should really read through 1, 2, and 3. That'll take me long enough. There's 3 stories in this particular one. This could probably take me all of 2020, because I'm not particularly just reading these, as you guys know. I take my time through my mysteries. So that's all, and yet that's not all of my haul. So tune in soon to see which other books, mostly nonfiction, I have purchased. And honestly, I haven't been spending that much money. Most of them are $1 or under $10, so we good. So let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books. No spoilers, but let me know what you think. If there's anyone that I particularly should get to soon, please let me know. And if there's one that you say, oh, Catherine, not worth it, why did you bother buying this? It's just absolute trash, you can let me know, but say it nicely. So this has been Catherine and Freddie from Taking Tea with Catherine. Have a lovely day.